good at guessing the price on that, but I'll tell you what, Roger, it's money well spent.
Okay.
It's money well spent because it gives you peace of mind in terms of safety.
Sure.
And it's also money that you gain back in terms of efficient operation. So the number one thing is make sure to get a tune-up, an energy tune-up on your furnace so that that major appliance, which is about 80% of our customers' costs, residential customers' costs for natural gas in the wintertime, that one appliance right there is a key piece of that.
Is that worth doing yearly or every other year, or how often?
Yep, I would do it every year.
Yearly?
Every year, make sure that that appliance is operating correctly. It just gives you some comfort and some peace of mind, and you know it's working right and you know it's working well.
Yearly tune-up on our furnaces.
And a second thing is carbon monoxide protection.
Yeah.
If your furnace is not operating correctly, let's say, for example, you have a malfunction in your furnace, for example, the heat exchanger, which is that exchange point between the heat from the natural gas and where it blows air across it into your house. If you have a cracked heat exchanger, it can bleed some carbon monoxide into your house. Carbon monoxide can't be felt, no smell, you don't know it's in your house. So the carbon monoxide protector is a really, really important safety piece in terms of your house. We have a carbon monoxide protection program, which includes a top-of-the-line carbon monoxide detector, as well as the services of Consumers Energy to respond if you ever have an incident with carbon monoxide protection. So that's a number two piece, is to make sure that you have carbon monoxide protection in your house, whether it's your own carbon monoxide protector or perhaps through our carbon monoxide protection program. And a third piece, which is just good old-fashioned housekeeping, Roger. I know if people are like me and their furnace is in their basement, a basement is a great spot to store stuff that you don't want in the way upstairs. And we all do that. We all want to get things out of the way. So where do you put it? You put it in the basement. And as you start to shove things and shove things back and further back, you know, I got to tell you something, where does it always end up? The furnace is back in the corner, and that's where everything gets pushed away. Good old-fashioned housekeeping in your house. Keep things away from your furnace. Keep combustibles away from your furnace. Keep that area clear by your furnace. Anytime that you have some opportunity for your furnace to be within the vicinity of anything that's combustible, that just creates a chance for a problem in your house that doesn't need to be there. So a third thing is good old-fashioned housekeeping. Make sure to keep the area clean and keep the area around your furnace good, again, so it can operate well. It needs to draw air in to operate and keep combustibles and things away from your furnace.
Tune up, carbon monoxide detector, and looking at cleaning up your basement.
Good old-fashioned housekeeping is the third one. Now, the safety piece is the first piece that I want to really spend a lot of time on. Now let's talk about the energy efficiency piece. And again, I'm going to back into the point I made before. Your furnace is your number one item in your house, which controls how much you pay for natural gas usage during the winter. And the way you control your furnace is you control your thermostat. So let me back up on a few points that I made before. Before you can do anything to say, we want to reduce our energy usage in your house, the first thing you need to think of is, how do we use energy in your house? You need to think about your lifestyle. Do we wake up in the morning, do we turn the thermostat up and do the 3 or 4 or 5 or how many people in the house? Does everybody try to adjust that to their comfortable level so it's going up and down all day long? When do we use it? When do we turn it on? Do we turn the furnace down at night? Do we turn the furnace down when we leave the house? How do we use energy in the house with relation to our furnace? And then the other major appliance for natural gas usage is your hot water tank if you have hot water natural gas. How much hot water do we use taking showers? Do I take a shower? Do I take a bath? Let's think about how we use energy in our house first. And once you get a good understanding of your energy usage patterns, and by that I mean the things you've gotten very comfortable with using energy in your house. This is just the way that we use energy in our house, how we use our hot water, how we use our furnace in the house. Understand how you do that. And then once you understand how you do that, then you start paying attention to measures that you can do in terms of controlling your usage. So let's go back to that thermostat, which is our number one culprit and what's going to be the cost for this thing.
We talked about that in the summer too, about keeping it down to an appropriate level so that you weren't using too much energy. Is it the same lesson in the winter?
It's the same lesson. It's interesting that you bring that point up, because one of the most frequently asked questions I get is, so how much should I turn my furnace down in the winter? You know, how much should I turn it down during the day and at night? My question is, how much can you turn it down? Think of it this way. Every time you turn your thermostat down, for each degree, it's a 1 to 3% savings on your natural gas usage.
Really?
Now, let me remind you again, 80% of your bill, roughly 80% of your bill, comes from that single appliance in your house. So if you can think, if I can turn that down 1 degree and save 1 to 3% of that each time I do that, do the math, Roger, it really starts making a difference on there. So if you want to control a majority of your natural gas bill, you control the thermostat. So the question is, how much should I turn it down? How much can you turn it down? And the way to get there is generally you kind of work at a degree at a time. And here's the part where I've mentioned before where this is hard. If somebody does it on their own, if you in your house are trying to be the one that controls this thermostat, and your wife is not exactly playing ball with you and following with you on this thing, you go back and forth. You turn it down, she turns it up. And with a family, with kids, if everybody's not participating together, it doesn't work. So my point on this thing is make it a family affair. Let everybody do this together. Let everybody participate in this together. And the outcome on this thing is if we spend less money for our energy in here, that gives us more money to do other things with. So everybody should be in this together. So on our thermostat, the way to get down to how low can it go is a degree at a time. Turn it down a degree at a time and just find that comfortable setting. Now you're going to reach a point where if people are used to being around the house with a t-shirt and shorts, and that's kind of how we like to hang around in the house, that's going to be uncomfortable. So the next step is, okay, can we put on a sweatshirt and sweatpants and warm socks? We can get a few more degrees down on that thermostat if we make some lifestyle changes. So this is all about making lifestyle changes so that you spend less money on your energy, which gives you more money to do other things with. So that's the number one piece in here.
Let me
control
ask you,
that thermostat.
about in controlling the thermostat. Is there a cultural agreement to maybe turn it down at night and then turn it back up in the morning, or is that not something that really saves you that much energy?
Definitely a savings. Our recommendation is, during the daytime when your house, find that comfortable setting for when you're living in the house. At night, turn your thermostat down. Again, I can't tell you what those are, but find out how far you can do it. And when you're gone from the house during the day, turn that down. Now, one way you can do that is walking up to the thermostat and turning that thermostat down. Another way you can do that, which is what I do in my house, is a programmable thermostat, which automatically comes on in the morning, heats the house up, it automatically shuts off during the day, and automatically turns down at night to keep the temperature on there. It takes away that variable where you walked out of the house in a hurry to work, you're running late and forget to turn the thermostat down. So it's keeping your house warm all day long unnecessarily, and you're spending money for energy that you don't need to spend.
Where do you get a programmable thermostat?
They're available in a lot of stores, home stores, they're available in a lot of different stores. Again, check on our website to see if there's some incentives there for buying energy efficiency appliances.
Consumersenergy.com.
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Any other points you want to make on there? Because I wanted to ask you about what we're going to do for business customers too, but are there some things that other things you want to add on?
Well, and again, we're focusing on winter now.
Right.
So we're kind of paying attention to that appliance in there. And I will say it really, the majority of your savings of energy conservation, what we do in our home, is watch that thermostat. The next piece is if you have a natural gas water heater, watch your hot water usage. Just consider, if you like a nice, long, hot shower in the morning, I'm not saying don't do it, but just understand that it costs you more to do that than if you like a nice hot bath as opposed to a warm shower. These are things you pay for, and you make your own judgments as to what kind of things can I avoid doing, what kinds of things can I do differently to gain more energy savings or spend less for my energy bill.
But how about for our business customers?
A lot of the things that I talked about with business customers apply in businesses too. I mean, good old-fashioned techniques in the area of your business where you're doing environmental control, like the lighting, like the temperature, like the water usage in there. It gets real different in business customers if we talk about a lot of different issues, like a restaurant may have a different technique for saving energy than, for example, a small manufacturing complex or different things. I think the best advice on that, Roger, is to look again on our website to the energy saving pieces in there. We have specific areas where we will offer energy incentives for doing things like, again, compact fluorescent lighting. We have others that are more...
What kind of an incentive is that?
Typically we'll reduce the cost of fixtures. So for example, if you buy a compact fluorescent bulb, it costs more than an incandescent bulb. So if you go to a store, and in fact you'll see if you go to shop at some of the stores, some home stores, you'll see that right in the display shelf where compact fluorescent bulbs are at, you'll see that there's a discount price on some of those. That's actually a part of our energy efficiency program.
Really?
So it's very visible and it's right there. So you can save on the spot by a reduced cost of the fixtures.